Game 2, Forest Pond. It's gonna be Malay from Team Secret. 99% sure about that one. The other civilization, possibly Byzantines, can be a reasonable idea here. Or Teutons could also work for Secret. On the other side, for Aftermath, maybe Italians is a reasonable idea to think about, or just go land aggression. So Spanish is definitely an option, but I feel like it's better for hideout. Aztecs could also work, Malians could also work. I don't feel like there is any good or super no-brainer pick here for Aftermath. They can make most of their civilizations work on this map. It's not gonna be Japanese because it goes for Cape of Storms, and I feel like Spanish will go for hideout. So maybe Italians, but it could go for Team Islands. In fact, I believe it goes for Team Islands, although Vikings could be good for Team Islands as well. One of them will most likely go Dry Lakes, so I feel like it's gonna be Aztecs or Malians. Malians might be the best pick here, to be honest. With the addition of Celts, maybe? That could be an interesting combo. Alright, so let's see how we're doing with the next game. They are setting up the next game here. And it looks like Nikov is gonna step in. So let me change the scoreboard. They might be switching players every game. That could also work quite well. So MBL and Nikov will be stepping in for Aftermath. So, first game won by Aftermath. I think that was a very convincing performance. But Secret really thrives on water maps. Let's never forget that. They are just so good on these water maps that it's just brutal to think about. Alright, so we got a game on here. Let me switch to Capture Rage as I welcome you to the second game in this best of 7 series in the 2+ tournament grand finals. It is gonna be the Viper and TaToH for Team Secret in red and purple as Koreans and Malay. So Malay, actually, I think that's the best thing you can do on this map with the pools that Secret is having. It's gonna be in the hands of TaToH now. So he's gonna be the one who will try to do a fish boom here once they get control over the waters, if they can do that. On the other side, it is gonna be Burmese as the second pool civilization for Aftermath in yellow for MBL, and freshly stepping in, it's gonna be Nikov in green as Italians, which is a tiny bit surprising thing to me, for two things. First, I believe Italians would have been better for Team Islands. Second, I believe that Italians are not super good in land combat, even though they do get some nice possibilities, especially if you reach Imperial. One intriguing option I can actually think about here, although I'm not sure if that's going to be the case, but definitely worth thinking about the fact that you can combine Burmese and Italians quite well, and you get the Burmese Condotieros. Burmese Condotieros will have an insane damage output, so eventually that's not a bad idea to think about, but it's still a question to me, how are they going to contest the waters? It's clear that you cannot give Secret a free fish boom, because if you do that, Secret is just gonna boom like a madman. This is exactly what they did in the semifinals and the quarterfinals. So even if you cannot completely deny water, you have to do your best to try and harass the docks and fishing eco of Secret. So what's gonna happen most likely is that... Wait, Viper is Malay and TaToH is Koreans. I completely changed these guys up. So Viper will most likely drop a dock over here, and TaToH will most likely drop his dock over here. TaToH could also go for a towering attempt with the Koreans. That's definitely an idea to think about. So if he wants to tower, then he can definitely do that on MBL. It's going to be a tiny bit tricky because MBL can go for defensive men-at-arms. But I have a feeling that MBL is trying to fast castle here into Arambai. And if he fast castles into Arambai, then towering is a great option for TaToH. Especially considering that both the stone and the gold supplies of MBR are on the front. So basically, if TaToH can land the tower over here, smash through the walls and land the tower over here, then MBL is gonna have a very hard time grabbing golden stone for himself. Still, he will have the option to possibly escape over here and get to the gold or stone over here on the outside, but TaToH definitely has all the tools he needs to tower, potentially fast castling MBL. So, let's see. MBL and Nikov dropping down their docks first, and MBL is doing the exact same dock layout as the Viper was doing. Meanwhile, Viper with a bit more defensive dock over here. TaToH is gonna be the one who drops his dock over here on this side. Alright, and I really like the fact that TaToH is adding houses to the shoreline. This gives him vision and makes it harder for his opponents to land a towering attempt on him. Anyways, let's see. Front gold is there for the Viper. So Nikov could actually gamble for a potential towering as well, but I'm not sure if he's gonna do that, as we see a fight in between the scouts. I think this was slightly in the favor of Viper. This is why Nikov most likely moved out here, as he's finally going for Loom. Maybe he's trying to bait in Viper's scout into his own base, or just use the help of one villager to kill Viper's scout. Viper will eventually catch up to the scout of Nikov, so Nikov definitely will be losing this scout combat. Let's see, will Viper get lured in? Nope, he won't. So eventually, this is not the greatest fight for Nikov, as he is the first player to click up. This is actually very important because he's gonna be the first player to pop out these fire galleys into feudal, but Malay do have the faster uptime, so cancel everything that I've said previously. It is gonna be the Viper as the first player to feudal by half a minute. That's a very big difference, so he's gonna be able to harass the fishing eco of Nikov first, and indeed, MBL doesn't seem to go for a fast castle himself. He's gonna click up as well at 21 villagers. So what's the plan? Maybe Manarom's opening? Early transport by TaToH. Oh boy. He wants to transport villagers. But where? Where does he want to transport villagers? Maybe inside MBL's base? That would be kind of foolish, to be honest. Let's see TaToH's scouting here. TaToH doesn't see anything, to be honest. He was just pushing deer with his own scout. And to be honest, this kind of indicates that he wants to land with his scout as well. Because possibly the reason why he is not scouting is because he wants to keep full HP on his own scout. But it's definitely surprising to see that he's having a transport, or maybe he's gonna transport a Viper villager. Interesting. Definitely interesting matchup over here. Viper and Nikov already up to feudal, MBL and TaToH just going up, and eventually TaToH is gonna try to do the inside towering thingy. I definitely dislike this in this case. Like, look at that. I've talked about this one previously. Inside towering is less useful in my point of view, because first, MBL can react to this. Oh no, TaToH! TaToH is gonna get stranded over here. This is very big for Secret. This is super big. MBL is just gonna be able to completely corner these guys, and if Nikov moves in with the fire galleys, Nikov's gonna be able to clean up 5 villagers from TaToH. And if he just scouted this, he might have spotted. I'm not sure. Well, in fact, he is unable to spot these golden stone supplies. But towering from the inside is never a good idea. First, because your transport might just bump into... And look at that! Look at MBL, what a play! He's blocking the villagers with the fishing ships on the shoreline. He's gonna sacrifice 2 fishing ships to kill the villagers here from TaToH. What a beast he is. Now Viper is still pushing very heavily on the water. But now TaToH's eco is in ruins. And oh boy, what a game this turns out to be. What a game. So yeah, towering from the inside is not a great idea in my estimation, because the opponent can always... Oh, that's a beautiful demo by the Viper. What an amazing demo. But yet again, MBL and Nikov are both committing to the water. So Viper is basically doubled here, and TaToH doesn't have the eco to help him out. So if you tower here, let's say, MBL will have the freedom to move outside to this gold, this stone, even if he loses the control over his resources. He's gonna be able to move to the outside and grab it. This is why towering from the outside is not really a working idea. And now The doubling is working quite well, even though the demos are very good from the Viper. Still, TaToH's fishing eco is gonna get cleaned up, and his eco is gonna be in ruins, 21 villagers, and the fishing ships will be going down to the bottom of the lake as well. And that is gonna give a great fish boom opportunity for Aftermath. They are getting close to have a great advantage in Game 2, to be honest. Oh, this could be beautiful. Nikov, beautiful splits by the Viper. Final second split, and look at that, Nikov is just falling back. He knows that he needs to land a shot on double ships. This is some very micro-intensive gameplay over here. TaToH still has 2 fishing ships to work with. This is actually quite important for him. Viper splitting up his fire galleys. I think MBL just needs to commit to this fight. They outnumber Viper very heavily over here, so they should be able to overwhelm him. One thing to point out though, overcommitting to water can actually backfire. So eventually, Secret could be able to pressure from the outside now. That's what Viper should think about, but the problem is that he won't be able to have a good fish boom, as the fishing eco is going to be completely cleaned up, even though he could land a beautiful demo here. It's not a great one. It's not a great one by any means. Secret's fishing eco getting cleaned up as the TaToH is moving up to tower, but these are quite late towers, to be honest. And eventually, with Aftermath grabbing control over the water, they can start booming very heavily. At this point, now that they see that the fishing eco and the navy of Secret is cleaned up, they need to cancel out these fire galleys. Overcommitting to water doesn't help you. That's very important. So, if you invest a lot of resources into the water push, then that might backfire very well, because the opponent will have the chance to pressure you from the outside. So, I feel like this fire ship or fire galley should be cancelled, but Nikov is still making more. They need to cancel the fire galleys and start adding fishing ships, capitalize on their water control. That's a very important thing, and that's something that we talked about with a lot of people now. That a lot of cases, people just win water control, but they don't use it. You have to use water control like Secret did, and it doesn't look like they are using that. Looks like Aftermath is completely committing to this water fight, just sending in more and more fire galleys. They want to clean this up, no matter what. Even if it's an overcommitment, even if they spend a lot of resources on these fire galleys, they want to clean this up, and that might backfire, like I said. Okay, now Nikov has cancelled out his ships. Needs to go for the fishing ships here. That's the thing he needs to do. Really needs to capitalize on the water control, because TaToH is now moving in with some towers, towering away MBL's gold. MBL can still completely escape and just grab this gold if he wants, so he has a lot of space to fall back to as the counter towers are now coming up for MBL. So far, it's looking better for Aftermath if you ask me, but you gotta add the fishing ships, exactly. Same applies for MBL. Really need to capitalize on their water control. If you don't add fishing ships, committing this much resources to the water is actually gonna backfire. Because look at how much wood is invested in these fire galleys. That is something that Viper and TaToH did not do. Like, they had some fire galleys, but not this much. So eventually, they'll have some extra resources to work with for their land combat. The only way that Aftermath can actually gain advantage from the water control is that they have to start popping out fishing ships, and MBL is not doing that. And I'm really not sure why. He's probably busy defending against this trash here, as TaToH and the Viper is also going up to Castle Age. MBL is going to be the final player up to Castle. He almost has the resources though. Needs to add those fishing ships. Nikov is doing a very good job fish booming, but it's not enough. If you invested this much resources into cleaning up the water control of the Viper and TaToH, meanwhile the Viper is trying to reclaim water, that's actually a very smart thing to do. Sometimes players just forget about that one, and the Viper is going to be up to Castle. He's going to go for the war galley and try to get the technology advantage ahead of Nikov. Again, galleys are coming up from Nikov, I like that. He's going to be able to try and pressure the land eco of the opponent with the war galleys arriving. And Nikov needs to spot the docks here from the Viper. Like, look at that. Nikov can actually see the docks in the making. He needs to move in on this one because he's going to be in trouble. TaToH with the towers still. He's going to be up to Castle, so these will be turned into guard towers. And like I said, MBL has a lot of space to fall back to. Vipers trying to snipe the weak villager. If MBL just reacts to this one, oh, he's going to lose one villager most likely. Or not. Oh, what a play again by MBL. He's going to be safe here as Viper adds the second town center. Still, one word I want to stress. Fishing ships. 8 fishing ships doesn't justify this much commitment to water. Especially now that the Viper is gonna add a few demos. I like the fact that there is a switch from Nikov to war galleys. I really like that. Especially now that they can consider landing here in the base of TaToH. That would be a disaster for our Spanish player. Anyways, it's a full tower commitment here by TaToH. He's just sending in more and more of those villagers, landing a forward siege workshop. What a play. You know, oh, it's tough, because now MBL is completely cornered inside his base. They need to do something. This is what I said. Winning the water itself doesn't help you necessarily. You also need to have a good land combat. And if Aftermath neglects land combat, then that is gonna backfire super heavily. As the siege workshop is coming up from Nikov, he's gonna be 3 town center booming, as MBL is gonna be on 2. And finally, MBL is adding the fishing ships. Exactly what you need. Might be a tiny bit too late, because now Viper has a decent fleet here. MBL maybe with the war galley upgrade could be a reasonable thing to do. But right now, Nikov is the one who has water control, and they have the fishing ships. They need to maintain that one, and they will get a big, big lead, as opposed to Secret, as their eco is significantly better than the one from Team Secret. So, let's see. And as you can see, Nikov is just patrolling his ships over here, possibly trying to... Oh boy. This could be beautiful if he moves in with those demos. This is gonna be a one-on-one trade by the demos. One demo could connect, and the other one could sink half of this fleet. Beautiful demos there by Nikov. Barely surviving is one fire ship by the Viper. He has to commit a lot to his water combat, as he's adding TC number 4 though. He's trying to boom, but the TaToH is just 1 TC. Eventually, he's pressuring the hell out of MBL, so MBL's gold mines is in a big, big trouble. Finally, counter Mangonel coming up by Nikov, but I don't see the land composition of MBL, to be honest. He's adding a siege workshop, possibly trying to ram down these towers. At this point, rams are much better against these towers from TaToH, because the Mangonels will die very easily to the Gout towers, but there is no villagers to beat down the rams, so one ram can actually deal with the towers from TaToH, now that the villagers are here on the front line. Anyways, Nikov is grabbing the relics. I like the way that he's doing that, and MB is just running for more and more gold piles right now. Still, not a lot of military units from either side on land. Alright, let's see. Still, the fishing eco gives a big, big lead to Aftermath, but they also have the villager lead by far. TaToH's villager count is kind of low. The Viper is on an insane boom though, with 4 town centers. Still, the fact that Italians can actually capitalize on a cheaper Imperial Age is gonna help quite a bit here. So, Italians actually click up easier, which is a big, big difference. Nikov might be aiming for an imp here. Who knows? He's mining a lot of stone. Same applies for MBL, so we might see a castle being dropped here. Would be interesting. Who's gonna drop a castle? Oh, there it is! Look at that! 1 Mangonel, 9 villagers by MBL. He's gonna drop a castle inside the base of TaToH. TaToH doesn't have enough resources to make a defensive castle. The best thing he can do is a defensive tower, but there is a Mangonel. Oh, look at that gate by MBL. What a play. So TaToH, he cannot counter tower this because there is a Mangonel here by MBL. But look at that. Where did this fleet come from? The Viper with his own fleet trying to clean up the villagers here by MBL. This is gonna be very tough because oh, the Mangoes are slowly taking down these fire ships, but the fact that these fire ships are here might cost this castle. Oh boy. Oh boy. This castle will barely go up. This is super close. The demos might be able to snipe the villagers. At the cost of a lot of villagers, this castle goes up. The fact that Secret is pushing this heavily on water is gonna be a big problem for Aftermath. Nikov's gonna be forced to pop out a few more ships. That is something that he is not doing at the moment. But when you get a castle in your base, it's never a great sight to see. Still, MBL with 2 TCs, he's just 47 villagers. The eco lead is still in the hands of Aftermath as the castle finally comes up to counter the towers that are coming from TaToH. But TaToH has a sneaky TC over here that will be able to supply him with war villagers, as Secret is on 4 TCs for both players. 8 TCs in total for Secret and just 5 for Aftermath. So eventually Secret is gonna be able to reboom, especially if they are able to pressure the water eco of Aftermath, exactly what they are doing. Aftermath's fleet is going down to the bottom of the lake, and if they get the possibility, look at that, Viper is gonna be doing the push here. As soon as he gets control over the water, he's gonna start popping out the fishing ships like a madman. He wants that fishing eco. And Aftermath did a beautiful job grabbing control over the water. But now they have to maintain that control, at least pressure Viper. Do not give him the free fish boom because it's gonna be a big problem. Nikov and Embi are both on their way to Imperial though. The fish boom helped them out quite a bit here. So they had the lake control. This means that their water boom helped them for an earlier uptime. However, Viper is getting close to Imperial, and remember, if you give free fish boom to Malay, that is gonna hurt you quite a bit. Anyways, Castle slinking a few ships here from the Viper as the Arambais are now popping out. I'm not sure why this tower or castle is actually targeting this house. Maybe it's intentional to try and house TaToH, but I feel like targeting these towers or these TCs would be more than reasonable. Anyways, these Arambais will be here to help, because what MBL is gonna try to do, drop a few, not a few, but he's gonna drop a trebuchet over here, start shutting down these buildings from TaToH as he has a lot of idols over here. Meanwhile, down south, it's gonna be a few Genoese crossbows coming up as Nikov is also adding a barracks here. Anyways, let's see. Viper on his way to Imperial, and he's gonna be super fast because he is Malay. He's still having a 4 TC boom. Gonna go castle here as the Genoese crossbows finally arrive. Upgrade wise, they just have a fletching, so even Botkin arrow is missing for Nikov as he's going for chemistry right now. He has enough stone to drop a castle in the face of Viper. Anyways, let's see. MBL up to Imperial. Trebs should arrive here. And like I said, he's got the Arambai to protect himself against the villagers of TaToH. TaToH doesn't have any other military buildings, so he cannot just send out any units to snipe down those traps. Best thing he can do is call for Viper, as Viper is getting control over the water. He should add more fishing ships, I think. He's got a lot of wood, and he needs a great boom, as it looks like Nikov might be going for hand cannons here. That's a lot of archer ranges, and he goes for the early chemistry, as there goes the hand cannoneers from Nikov. Meanwhile, the towers here slowly getting cleaned up by the chests, by the manganos. This TC is gonna go down sooner or later, but look at the pressure on Mbia's base. Mbia is in big trouble here, taking the mango fights. Oh, this is some super heavy micro here. TaToH is really committed to towering this one. And that mango still stands 1-for-1 trade at the end. TaToH is far away from Imperial, so he's far away from dropping down keeps. Problem is gonna be that he is gonna have a trap inside his own base, so he's gonna lose 2 TCs over here, potentially 1 over there, so he's gonna be 1 TC, and he's just gonna add the second one for himself as the castle on this... Is this a hilltop? Doesn't seem likely, but the gunpowder is gonna be super strong for the Italians here. Viper with the chemistry himself, I assume he wants to go bombard cannons himself, adding a bunch of barracks and archer ranges. Alright, and yeah, this is the power of the war guys over here. You can actually pressure the opponent's land eco quite well. I'm not sure why Mbia's chopping wood over here would be better a tiny bit over here, but still it's very hard because he's getting the hell towered out of him. It's tough. It's really tough because they don't get water control, so Nikov cannot even help out with bombard cannons. Anyways, let's see, that's a lot of bombard cannons and hand cannoneers coming up, and if Viper starts to lose town centers, that's gonna hurt his eco badly. He's still far away. Look at that, he's making archers and crossbows. He's gonna go for arbs, but it will still take some time for him to mass up that army of arbalests, as the first TC from TaToH goes down, soon to be followed by the second one, Viper with Thumbring, but he still doesn't have the arb upgrade. I'm not sure how he's doing. He already has Bracer, but he's just getting the crossbowman upgrade up. Well, he already has crossbow, but he's gonna get the arb soon. And he's losing TCs rapidly. And still, you could go for a few condotieros if you're Italians against the ARP composition of the Viper. He's getting cornered here as well, so he has nowhere to run if he gets his buildings destroyed. Eco-wise, it's a slight lead for Aftermath. MBL is not in a great shape, but now he's popping out the Condotieros. And remember, these are Burmese Condotieros. Even without forging, they get the +3 armor or +3 attack. This is why Burmese Condotieros are so fancy. With the scale mail armor, these Burmese Condotieros will just smash everything. MBL up to Imperial with the Siege Workshop, he's gonna be able to just bombard down all these towers, free up the pressure from his base, and meanwhile the Viper is getting pressured super hard here. There come the Arbs, but bombard cannons will be quite okay in this scenario, and the Viper, I'm not sure if he can keep that castle up. Let's see, are we gonna see Condotieros? There we go, Condotieros coming up. Not a lot of Pierce armor just yet, but Viper, he's got all the upgrades he needs right now. Let's see, maybe a few rams? No rams just yet. Okay, problem is that Viper is just six fishing ships, so eventually he wasn't able to do the fish boom, as it looks like MBR finally loses the trap to the bombard cannons here of TaToH. Yeah, it's gonna be a tiny bit of... Wait, it's Viper with the bombard cannon. Where did this come from? I have no idea where this bombard cannon came from, but these armed by will just suicide into the tower fire. So the micro is very good here by the Viper. Problem is that his base is under super heavy pressure. And coinage is coming up for Nikov, so from now on he's gonna be able to sling MBL, who is now breaking down these buildings from TaToH. He's still just 2 TCs, but Burmese Condotieros are no joke. Anyways, now this bombard cannon is gonna be able to pressure the castle here from MBL. He's trying to mess up a decent number of Arambais, try to just dive in on that bombard cannon and snipe it down. But eventually, TaToH's TC might go down, who knows? It's very close, it's gonna be super close. But I think, yeah, TaToH's TC is gonna go down unless he starts repairing that, which seems unlikely, as now it is gonna be Nikov slinging some stone to MBL. Anyways, now the elite skirms are arriving for Nikov just to take a fight here against the army of the Viper. In terms of eco, now Secret has a slight lead, but now it is gonna be MBL starting to boom. And when he starts booming, I think he's gonna be able to overrun TaToH. TaToH doesn't have his own defense. MBL's castle might go down, but TaToH still on 3 TCs. Like, it's super surprising that Aftermath didn't destroy that TC on the left side, but the composition is very good here from Nikov, and he's constantly pressuring this castle. If this castle goes down, a few Condotieros will just run in and start smashing villagers down to dust. As it looks like Viper is having slight housing issues, TaToH with the castle on the north, as MBL just lost his own inside the base of the Viper. So, let's see, Viper is running out of resources. That's gonna be the biggest thing for him. He chopped himself out here, so he still has a lot of space to fall back to, but to be honest, not a lot of resources over here, as you can see on the minimap. Just a tiny bit of gold on the right side, and that's it, and some stone. Not a lot of gold for Secret to work with. So it's tricky, because Secret is running out of resources, and even though they have a better eco right now, look at the stockpile resources for Nikov. He's 2k food, 2k gold, he's having some population and housing issues. Meanwhile, Secret is completely out of resources, as Viper is now hurrying up his fishing eco, going gill nets, going 12 fishing ships now. But on the north, it is now a bunch of Condotieros from the Burmese. Knights are popping out here finally for TaToH, but eventually MBL is in Imperial. Meanwhile, these are still Castle Age Knights from TaToH without any upgrades. So even these Condotieros will be doing a decent job cleaning these up. And I think TaToH is going to lose a TC over here. And the Viper losing his castle. This is the moment when the Condotieros can just move in. And I am starting to think that Aftermath is getting close to a Game 2 victory. Beautiful tower there by TaToH to hurt MBL's wood eco, but MBL can just fall back over here now, and he's gonna be perfectly fine with his lumberjacks. And look at that, MBL with the forward siege workshop, just adding more barracks to spam out an insane amount of Condotieros. And in fact, MBL is gonna start adding the barracks over here for those Burmese Condotieros. He's gonna get iron casting and chainmail. If he gets all the upgrades, those Condotieros will be beasts. I really like the fact, by the way, that Nikov is trying to use this hill to his advantage. Slowly but surely the Viper seems to push this back, but when the Condotieros arrive, Viper will have no tools to fight against that. Also on the north, TaToH seems unlikely to hold against this heavy pressure, even though MBL's eco is kind of weak. At this point, I would like to see Nikov slinging a few resources to MBL, because Nikov is sitting on a lot of gold and food, and he's just not sending it to MBL, who could really use it to start an even better boom, or just go for the upgrades and the condotieros. No trade being set up just yet for Aftermath, as I can see that, as it looks like on the north it's still a slow and steady push by MBL, and now come the condotieros, and look at these guys, where are they at? No condotieros on the south just yet. Oops, I think I just forgot to mute my microphone when I coughed. It sometimes happens. Anyways, let's see, just more condotieros coming up for MBL, but look at these guys, 9+5 attack, and the problem is that TaToH is still in Castle Age. He's fighting against Imperial Age condotieros, who will have the Blast Furnace upgrade for extra 2 attack against these knights, as the Cavaliers are now popping out for Nikov. Cavaliers, Elite Skirms, Bombard Cannons, this is gonna be insanely hard to stop, especially if Nikov lands a tower over here, let's say. He's gonna be able to harass the Viper's Wood line. Viper with coinage, possibly aiming to sling a bit of resources to TaToH to help him click up to Imperial, because TaToH really needs his Imperial. This is not an advantageous fight for him. He's popping out a few crossbows, but crossbows aren't super efficient against these condotieros. Look at these beasts, +7 attack and 4 pierce armor as well, is quite fancy. Pavi's coming up for Nikov, so it's gonna make his units even stronger here, and he's massing a big blob of Cavaliers. He doesn't want to reveal his plans just yet, and these Cavaliers will just smash all these Elite Skirms. Maybe these Bombard Cannons can do that as well. Viper losing a few villagers. Their eco is slightly better than Aftermath right now, and there is some harassment coming from the water. I still feel like Aftermath needs to clean this up. Can they see this? They can see this town center. I'm not sure why they're not cleaning this up. Like, this is super problematic. This trap is sitting here for 10 minutes. And TaToH is still towering with this one. He could kill, like... Nikov could just kill 15 villagers here and the town center from TaToH, and TaToH is doing the sneaky stables. That's the thing. These are just still Castle Age light cavs, as now the Cavaliers are now moving in, sniping the Bombard Cannons most likely. And if you can just smash all these skirms here, the other skirms coming up from Nikov will be going down on the Arbs. Or it looks like Nikov is just gonna focus down on the Arbalists. Kill the big units here. Kill the core of the army, let's say, because that's the core of Viper's army. Viper, 29 military still, but his army here is going down rapidly, and now the condotieros will just flood Viper's base. We might see a GG here. Defensive castle coming up, they still have a lot of space to fall back to. On the north, it's a lot of knights from TaToH, but TaToH is still just Castle Age, just going up to Imperial, so eventually he still doesn't have the tools to fight a war against an Imperial Age player like this. Okay, so condottieri is the plural for condottiero. Like I said, I cannot really look at the chat right now because my laptop has died on me, so that's not the case, but the condottieri here will just overrun the base of Viper, and now he's losing villagers, and that's a big thing. Ecos equalizing, and TaToH is gonna lose a lot of villagers here. He was super late to Imperial because he had a very weak eco, and that will mean that he had to take very bad fights. Like, Castle Age Knights against this good condottieri is just not gonna make it. That's the thing. Anyways, Viper, he is trying to keep that castle up, but now he's losing production buildings here. I feel like if these condottieri run in here, it will just be a distraction. By the time TaToH reaches Imperial, the Viper is gonna be mostly dead. Like I said, TaToH gonna get cleaned up here on the left side, soon to be followed by a trade being set up by Aftermath here. And I'm not even sure if Viper is gonna be able to hold out until TaToH reaches Imperial. No onager cut just yet. Maybe we will see one, but I highly doubt it. It's just the brute force power and the army numbers right now for Aftermath, as TaToH calls the GG. Team Secret getting defeated in the second game as well. What a series. What a series.